I'm thinking that we as an individual has our own lens, how we see the world. And it's quite rare for two person who has the same lens. Okay? All person has a unique lens. And that's why one person looks this way and the other person looks other way, but it's not to say that one person is correct and one person is wrong. They all correct, but based on their beliefs. And when we having a conversation with one another, when we have this lens, what we are connecting is, we are not connecting as a person, as a human being. We are using a projection of our beliefs to them, and they are also using their projection. And what happens is, when the projection hit one another, it will not create a connection. Instead, it is become impossible to entertain or to build connection, because these beliefs is really hard to meet the expectation of it. And plus, when this belief also magnified by what this person knew after watching social media for a long time. When they're watching social media, or they see this other person do that person do this, and it becomes their own standards. And it's difficult in real life, because most of the times in the social media, it is 2% of any individual life, the highlight of his or her life. When they for example, when they achieve something big, which is happens quite rare in their own life, so they post it. And when the other person saw it, it looks like it is common occurrence, but it is not. It is very rare, and that's the problem with social media. All people are showing only the good, the best, the greatest things in their life, and not the other mundane tasks, mundane life. That's why when you're watching the social media without having this understanding, what happens is it will hijack your brain, and you will think that it's a new normal, but it is not, and it's unsustainable. For example, to travel every day, every week, it's not sustainable to spend that a lot of money if you're doing it on maybe a daily basis. And that's something that I want to highlight here. And other than that, I want to talk about how we become exhausted even when we're not doing anything. And this is usually happens during your weekends. For example, you watch a lot of dramas, you play a lot of games, and at the end of the day, you didn't accomplish nothing. You you did accomplish nothing, and you also, but you feel exhausted. Why that's the case? Because you're using a lot of dopamines, a lot of energy, brain capacity. When you first thing when you're waking up, if you go straight away to your phone, what happens is, first of all, in the morning when you wake up, you have full storage of dopamine, full tank of dopamine, that you have to use it carefully. And what dopamine use is, what dopamine helps is, it helps in behavior reinforcement. It gives you excitement when doing something. But when first thing in the morning you do this doom scrolling, what happens is you use a lot of dopamines, okay? And also, dopamine trigger activities is different, depends on the activities. There are activities that uses a low doses of dopamine, and there are an exercise that uses a lot amount of dopamine. Okay, for doom scrolling, it's really uses a lot of dopamine because you watch 15-second video. It doesn't require you a lot of attention. Then you keep scrolling. What happens is you keep give something to your reward center, and it uses a lot of dopamine. And what happens after that is you will keep doing this every day because remember I tell you it's dopamine. It helps in behavior reinforcement. It gives you a push to keep doing that because because it gives pleasure for you, short-term pleasure. And the problem comes if you want to do a productive thing, but it seems like you cannot do it anymore because the things that's productive, for example studying, it releases significantly less dopamine than doom scrolling. When you do this, when you already depleting half of your dopamine reserve, then it's hard to use small amount of dopamine to study. It's really hard, and it's much easier to do more dopamine release activity, dopamine producing activities. For example, when you there are people who are watching porn. When you watch porn, you drag a lot of that dopamine, and you can even squeeze it until at the last drop. And that's the things that we need to be careful of, because we want to use this dopamine in correct way. We don't want to hijack it. We don't want to abuse it, so that we can actually achieve something and don't waste our time, because this thing, even is simple, but it's error in judgment compounded over time, it will cause you a lifetime failure. Thank you.